أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today we are going to talk about human rights in Islam. This is chapter number 3. Well, let us start this session. This will be an introduction of human rights which Islam has guaranteed to all the individuals irrespective of race, religion or color. Human rights are the precepts that affirming the dignity and rights of all human beings. And in Islam, human rights are rights which have been endowed to human beings by virtue of simply being human. In Islam, human rights are statements granted by Allah, not by kings or legislative assemblies, and therefore they can never be snatched or changed even temporarily for any reason. It means that the rights endowed by Islam to human beings which are conferred on them simply as being human, irrespective of race, irrespective of color, irrespective of region, and these rights are meant to be put in practice. They are not fixed on papers or as in the United Nations Declaration, which was adopted in 1948. The Islamic perspective of human rights is something which has changed the lives of the people. And these rights are granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every Muslim is required to accept them and recognize the people's rights in order to have them enforced and obeyed. Since Allah is the absolute and sole master of man and the universe, and since He has given each man human dignity and honor and breathed into him out of His own spirit, it follows essentially that men are essentially the same. Men are essentially the same. Islam lays certain rights for man as simply of being him as a human being. In other words, it means that every man, whether he belongs to this country or that country, whether he is a believer or he is not a believer, whether he lives in some forest or is found in a desert, or whether whatever be the case, he has some basic human rights simply because he is a human being. And these rights should be recognized by every Muslim, and they are to be enforced and they are to be obeyed. In fact, a Muslim has the obligation to fulfill these rights. And as Allah is the sole master, absolute master of the universe, He has created the man, and in this perspective, all human beings are equal from one universal community that is united in its submission and obedience to Allah. And they are same. They are united in obedience, in submission to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran says, "Believers, be steadfast in the cause of God and bear witness with justice. Do not let your enmity for others turn you away from justice. Deal justly, that is near to being God-fearing, for God is aware of all that you do." When an Islamic state is established everywhere, Quran states that human rights, these human beings, they have the human rights which are universal and fundamental in nature. And all individuals have to enjoy these and observe them under all circumstances. including war, regardless of whether he or she is living in the geographical confines of an Islamic state or not. The Quran has clearly mentioned that you should be steadfast in the cause of God. As you all know, that human blood is sacred in any case and cannot be dropped without justification.